Chilean Winter, students protest nationwide. In August of 2011, I, along with a group of students from St. Cloud State University, traveled to Concepcion, Chile, to study abroad for 4 months. Here is a picture of us with the other international students on our host campus at the beginning of our stay. Little did we know at this point that we were about to witness one of the largest student protests of our generation, popularly known as the Chilean Winter, given that August in the Southern Hemisphere is in the middle of winter. By the time we had arrived, students in every public university and many of the private ones were on strike and actively protesting against one of the most expensive educational systems in the world. In May of 2011, the Student Confederation of Chile was formed, uniting the majority of Chilean universities. This organization rallied students from across the country who went on strike from classes, even taking over campus buildings, and started protesting in the streets against the highly privatized educational system introduced to Chile by Pinochet, Chile's former dictator who in 1973 took over the democratic government of Salvador Allende in a military coup backed by the CIA. The privatization of colleges and universities led to problems of lucro, as the Chileans would say. Lucro means profit or gain, which means that many schools are owned by private institutions who in many cases view the schools as a means of profit for themselves, instead of what lies in the best interest of the students. The second issue that the protesters have is the extreme gap in quality of education between public and private schools, which reflects the economic gap between the very rich and very poor in Chile. I lived in Chile from August to December 2011, and during those 4 months, protests happened at least once a week, most of which were nonviolent. However, in some cases, there were altercations with riot police, resulting in injuries on both sides and in one tragic case, death. Manuel Gutierrez was shot and killed during a protest in the nation's capital, Santiago, on August 25, 2011. He was 15 years old. In Concepcion, my temporary home, this poster was seen as it was all over the country, commemorating the loss of the teenage student's life. It reads, "When one falls, thousands will rise." The demonstrations in Concepcion, although not as extreme and dangerous as those in the capital, still involved the use of tear gas and water cannon tanks on the part of the police, and Molotov cocktails thrown by protesting students. Days after protests, we could still feel the stinging burn of tear gas whenever the wind blew. In December, as Chile transitioned from winter to spring and summer, the situation calmed down somewhat. By January, after losing an entire semester of classes, most students ended the strike and attempted to get back on schedule. However, the issues that sparked the Chilean winter remain, in large part, unresolved, and discontent regarding the unequal and for-profit education still drives students to push for change and reverse the damage that dictator Pinochet, with support of the U.S. government, inflicted upon the educational system of Chile.